Okay, so I fixed that. It's labeled Zionist Terracell, Austin, Texas. Who's all he related to? Alex Jones right there, out by Cedar Street, 360. Stratfor, Israel intelligence operation headed by George Friedman. 221 West 6th Street, Suite 400. Elizabeth Shureg, legal counsel to Brothman and Alex Jones, Congress Avenue. Obviously, it sounds like one of their last names. Steve Jackson games it. That's interesting. Illuminati card game predicting COINTELPRO Jones. And they're at 3735 Promontory Drive. And then registered address for InfoWars, 910 Mary Street West. So, up here is 6601 Dogwood Creek for his mansion. Here we have Alex with his one Jewish kid. Looks like he's already dyeing his hair blonde. You'll notice in my videos, I tell you, they're dyeing their hair blonde all the time. And they tend to start young when they're teens because it helps the deception if they don't look like themselves. Kind of like his wife here. I mean, that's just dyeing hair all over. Like, but yeah, generally she goes with blonde. That's fake blonde. That's Jew blonde. Here we have Alex Jones says the Arabs control Hollywood. No, that's his Mossad agent, Molly Maroney. LinkedIn.com/n/Molly-Maroney-72BB1960 / down here. She worked for InfoWars magazine, managing editor, graphic designer, July 2012 to 2013. Researcher, Parker Media, intern for senator, student. I mean, she accidentally going to school after she's picking up all these other jobs, probably because she learned in Israel, everything. Intern, Grant Harrison, advertising. Intern, Stratfor Mossad, Israel intelligence operation. Now she thinks she's an artist. Here's Daily Stormer. We're going to go with some of this. Just show you. Okay, this is some of the, just the average everyday page. You can go there just like I showed you. That was today. I brought that up. He has Trump. Please, Trump. I love Trump. Oh, the fake Jewish news empire, because the media he loves isn't fake and is not Jewish, because he's telling you he's not Jewish, so you believe it. David Duke, more of it. Oh, the Daily Show writes stuff that is Enoch, admitted Jew at this point. He's still pushing that January 11th, 2018. Been pushing it forever. He doesn't care. He's pushing at the people who are intellectually lazy, but at the same time just not get it. And then there's Sam Hyde, that's one of his boys. And here he is, 24/7, Taylor Swift worshiping and blaming. And Taylor Swift isn't like even a good symbol for us, because she just does whatever media the TV tells her to do. She does country, pop, hip hop. She probably not even making her own music. She's probably having one of them create it for her in a studio. And so yeah, no. And then bragging about loving this Paul Ryan dude, who's obviously one of them. That's not good. Okay, he's more David Duke worship. I mean, it's pretty much anything this dude tells you to go to, you should avoid. He's not even posting stuff from the actual people who are talking about the real news, important stuff. He doesn't link to them at all. Then you have the Sam Hyde. Then you have the Sorry, I had to go back. The mic was off, but it was still recording. Just forget about it. And he loves this Lauren Southern person right here. Now she doesn't have to be ashamed of her heritage. But her heritage last week was running from Germany because they was going to kill a family. And just talks about bull, but he worships her. That's the main point. Yeah, this is more important. She's like, oh look, she quit the Jewish media. Now she's on your side, stupid goyim. Get those little penises out and start whacking them. Here comes the tits of the alt-right. Literally, first one they started advertising. This is the type of stuff you'll see on Daily Stormer. Like they're like loving assaulting the Palestinians. It's pretty much your comment section is all like fake accounts with like old pictures of old people. And here you get he talks about you can't go there. You can't go to their site sometimes because they will ban your IP address. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, Daily Stormer will ban you if you mention the Jews too many times. Kind of like their boys. It was actually Scott Roberts who mentioned this at first. Like, I would say kind of a fanboy still. I just got into Daily Stormer. And I didn't have any reason not to believe Scott Roberts, but I was like, what, really? I haven't been banned yet, dude, and I'm sure I've been way more belligerent than you. But it's true, eventually, instead of just being belligerent towards them, I started telling them that Trump's one of them, and I got banned for naming that they were them. So, he was right. Scott Roberts was right. They were banning you for talking about it, and it's not like Scott Roberts was being like I was. He was probably talking very cordial to him. It looked like he had hung out with him before and everything, which is like weird on my part, like on his part. I mean, you're hanging out with this dude, and now we know he's Jewish. Hopefully, you didn't know. But right here. And then one of the first praises of Trump's when he was in office was fake news journalists say Trump is violating the First Amendment by not calling them at press conferences, and it's like, dude, he didn't call any real news media either, and they're all fake news. Basically, anyone saying the fake news term is just a TV brainwash stooge. Like those are red flags. There are certain words you can't say. If someone says it to you, like, just stop listening to them. The amount of anything they're going to say to you is not going to be worth the time you have to invest into it to eventually get to the one intelligent thing they might eventually say or not. But it says, they say, if anyone says the term fake news, get rid of them. Stop talking to them. Just like if someone says the term liberal or Republican, I'm like, oh God, you're a retard. But these days, you just say the term libertarian too. It's like you're still part of the same fucking system. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Here we have his PewDiePie worship, pedophile pie, I call him. Go ahead, go to his page, analyze comments section. Tell me that's not 13-year-old. I was going to say 13-year-old, but after analyzing the comments, I realized I'm dealing with people who aren't even there mentally yet. Somehow 8-year-olds these days are like obsessing over trying to get some dick from PewDiePie and stuff. I mean, I'm not making this shit up. I'm not saying this to sound sick or attract attention. I'm telling you how it is. I'm not putting fucking sugar on top of it. I'm not gonna, urinate on it so it turns into your favorite flavor of propaganda. No, I'm just gonna tell you how it is. You go to his frickin' YouTube site. You can look at the comments. Never watch the videos first. Always look at the comments to know what you're getting into. And you're getting into 8-year-old girls who are like all up on his dick. It's pathetic. It's pathetic both ways. It's pathetic that He doesn't tell him, like, get the fuck off my page. Act like an adult. Act like someone who's not a predator. I mean, obviously, acting like a adult has nothing to do with not being a predator. But he, like, semi-caters them with, like, stupid shit, even though now he's supposedly an adult. But those degenerates themselves are, like, 8 to 13, like, swooning over him. Boy, what do they want to do with him? What does an 8-year-old want to do with a man? What the fuck type of trash are you people raising these days? Go to his site, and he'll explain to you exactly why the Daily Stormer, if it was credible at all, wouldn't link to this guy as a good show. It's like he's not a good person because he made some anti-black thing. He can say something about blacks now. Oh, and then lose everything. He's our hero, though. He's the new Taylor Swift. Look, here's another. I mean, this is just. I went there one day, like those were like what 3 days. I went over and took some of the same stuff. Like I showed you today. Yesterday was even better, but I showed you today how they'll link to the same people. And here he is, Ben Swann, Libertarian Movement. I always leave him out, but anyone in the Libertarian Movement knows that he is the mainstream guy. Like he's literally on mainstream media. Literally, he is on mainstream media, and he'll say all this stuff, but he's never going to, get to where it needs to be gone. He's never going to say that, and these people know it. These people have been, Andrew England's been attacking him forever. So, but this is a whole bunch of stuff in just one picture. Assange, WikiLeaks, Pizzagate, Ben Swann. All of things that Andrew England would have claimed to have been against when the group first started and made people who were legit think he was legit. First of all, anyone watching the ebb and flow of information knew that Pizzagate was put out towards the election, right there at the end, and it was obviously used to direct all attention away from Trump and onto the Clintons, who had already lost because she had suffered her brain damage, which makes her non-viable. The second you have someone brain damage in the government, you know something's up with your government if the president's brain damaged. This isn't like the old days where kings and queens could get syphilis and go crazy and you didn't do anything because kings and queens could cut your head off. These people got mental retarded. They get removed from office, and then you'd be really like, where's a real investigation? So even if they had her set up, she couldn't have went through because she obviously suffered a stroke, and it caused brain damage, which caused involuntary, momentary loss of motor actions. And that's where you had seen her spin out like that, which oddly, the media would never discuss that. It was just simple. I mean, let's not overthink things. Let's assume the most logical things. She was wearing the spectacles, which the Republicans pointed out at first before they went into weird conspiracy land that you're given when you have a stroke and it interferes with your vision. So she was wearing these crazy glasses that she hadn't worn. She used to wear some thick ones, but she was wearing them again. And you could have argued. You can argue something right there. Again, I'm not going to play devil's advocate and give you guys ammo for stuff that they're now refusing to even talk in the first place, because I've got the answer to how to defeat any of my arguments. But I want, first of all, if you can show me the answers to defeat my argument, then that shows me that you're pretty close to my level. Or you're like some sort of someone who knows more about me than you possibly could. According to human understanding. But okay, but the thing is the Pizzagate was obviously used at a time to obfuscate in Trump, getting him put there, and it was as obvious that Clinton, no matter what the plans with her was, that she had suffered problems and was unfit for presidency. So, Pizzagate, whatever. I know you guys are obsessed with that. You think it did so much stuff. They pretty much used it to brag in your face, if anything. If it was even real, it probably wasn't. I mean, it's just so stupid. It was pushed by all the scumbags. I've seen a couple of I can't prove anything about, but it was pushed by the scumbags I'm going over right now. Hello, wake the fuck up to reality, and not to people saying wake the fuck up. When Alex Jones says wake the fuck up, do the research, well, the research is what makes him wrong. So you got to do the research, right? You can't. I don't think you can wake up before you do the research. That's about the wrong time to wake up. But anyways, you also got why is he on Twitter? Why is England on Twitter? Was he a twit-head? Did you hear how it goes to Twitter? You have 5-word ideas. I go car store now. It's for retards, dude. Dude, you can't have a real conversation on Twitter. The president ain't hanging out on Twitter. That's bullshit. Did anyone with any money pay someone to be on Twitter for them? The only reason some of these people get paid to be on Twitter. That's all. I heard that's the whole reason people like Kardashian waste their time on there is because they get paid to post once a day at least or something like that by their advertisers and shit. Please. You're not going to find out anything important on Twitter. You can't. You get halfway through the sentence and you went over the limit of words you can put, characters you can put. Julian Assange, oh my God. I mean, he's on the TV, dude. He's an actor. They wouldn't put him there if he wasn't one of them. That's pretty much the law every time. Ben Swan, he's the libertarians. We've already exposed them before. It's Talmudic cult. You can't deny that. You can't deny your master is a Talmudist. You can't deny they're a Zionist. It doesn't matter what you think. It matters what the people who control you think. So here he is again, with his pedophile worship, linking to a whole bunch of disinfo. And I'm not like really cherry picking. The stuff that might not be disinfo is like that video I took you to, and it's like, who are these people? This is like a new disinformation site he's just spun off. Because the old one, NDE, was dying. Oh, look at that. Pizzagate updates. Oh, Podesta video found? But what about Trump? What about Trump hanging out with the pedophiles? Oh, it doesn't matter. Pizzagate, 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 Pizzagate. And this is the person who supposedly runs the site. He's trying to pose as a Irish person. Maybe that's what happens when the Jewish breed with an Irish. I don't know. Supposedly he's from right around where I was, where I am sometimes, where I may be now, may not be, where I might never want to go again. People seem a little obsessed with that. I think most of these are just like little shots of things that go on. So we'll end it here, but this is another thing, like, we won. Glorious leader, God Emperor won. Mission accomplished. Isn't it so good? He's like an evil bad guy. He's the greatest, man. And then they do weird things like turn a name like the Google owners to Skype, and then they turn the other people to Google. It's like, it doesn't even make sense. It's like a total distraction. Why didn't you name Google? It's like they created new words to like obfuscate what you're talking about, so you never name them, and they rearrange the words so the one that actually is them is not them. And who knows who owns Skype, right? I actually should have looked into that before I denied they own it, right? Because they might. Alex Jones tells audience to Google Jews multiculturalism. One thing is certain, InfoWars is going in the right direction. Was it sabotaged by his crypto-Nazi staff member Paul Joseph Watson? Was this an accident? Was he testing the waters? Is he subliminally programming his audience to hate the Jews? Okay, so if you followed this dude, like I told you, he hated Alex Jones. Anyone hates Alex Jones. You stay on his page for like a year or something, and then you stop worshiping him. At this point, there's just like bots on his page. You like him, and everyone else is like calling him out. But this dude, of all people, it's like up to his ability to have integrity to remain against this dude. Because the only thing that could be proven about who Alex Jones is like at the core of what this website claims to be about, and its group claims to be about, the Nazis claim to be about. But he is leading you back to worshiping this. This was May 18, 2016. This was around the early 2016 was probably around the time where he started. I mean, he would send his troll army to attack Alex Jones, and then they started switching over, and then David Duke got on his show, but they slowly switched over from a hate to a love, and now they like totally love him, as I showed you before. But it's a total deception how they did that. I didn't document it day for day. I wouldn't recommend going to these places to give them the hits, day-to-day monitoring, but it was clear. I mean, every time you were there, they were going from years of hating him and attacking him to worshiping him. And then these people like comparing Trump to Hitler, like he's going to save you. No. Here we have several other people. So we're going to start below. We're going to trickle down now from the two heads of the alt-right, the true real propaganda mouthpieces, being Daily Stormer and being Alex Jones. Daily Stormer, the underground, the main starter from what I could tell. And then Alex Jones, he had to do like a complete flip, as I discussed earlier. So you had those two, and who's below them? Okay, well, you have all these people. You have Molyneux, or beside them, depending on who you're talking to, Milo, Spitzer. And then there's also these link into who the other people are who are going to fall beneath these people. So here we have him associated with a really low level 1 faith goalie, the new upcoming tits, Lauren Southern, the not upcoming no more, she's the new mainstream tits. I don't think there was mainstream Nazi tits before, but now they got them, so men can just be like, oh my God, I need to have sex with her, and I can't control my little stub. Stetson, remember 666 on the Stephen Molyneux. James Damore on the Stephen Molyneux, which is weird because he was like a supposed white guy, but he looks, God, I can't see that. It looks a lot better if you could see it on it. Jamesdamore. He was in some reason news thing. I try to avoid remembering it because it's useless. Just knowing who's involved in this stuff is the point. The crimes they're committing. Like, did you care like what a criminal is doing? No, he wiped his butt today. Oh, oh my God, he's on TV because he wiped his butt and a little bit of poop got on his nail, and then it got on the kitchen sink, and they're suing him for being unsanitary at the restaurant. No, it's useless. The only thing that matters is the money. And who's getting the money? The people running the shit. And where's the money going? It's going to the people who run the shit. But where's the money come from? And, you go back to the Federal Reserve, you go back to bankers, you go back to Rothschild, you go back to... That's a bad name. It is a famous name, but there's so many. There's Heinz Bond, there's Soros, there's... you can't even remember them all, right? But just look at this dude, James, and you'll know there's something up with this story about him being the savior of the white race. He gonna save them white race, and they're so good. Bill Whittle, I can't tell you much about him, but I can tell you if he's on this show, it's not very good. But what I do know of him from just recently is he's obviously talking about some of the stuff posing as a white though. Looks a little weird though, having brown eyes, being up in this field. And then of course he's with Milo there. As you can see, the Washington Post. I mean, what media isn't Jewish? Do I ever have to say this is Jewish media? I mean, is it anti-Semitic? What if I were a Jew and I'm here saying all this stuff? You got all these Jews who would hate me, right? And you got to silence me, or the rest of you are going to pay for the truth, right? But the Washington Post, democracy dies in darkness. Isn't that great? It's in the middle of black, so they're so right. Alt-right YouTuber disowned by their community after coming out as having 1/4 Jewish heritage. Canadian YouTube Stefan Molyneux is getting a taste of his own medicine after being found out by the alt-right community to have Jewish heritage. Oh, it's so sad. Well, that's odd because we all knew that. And so no why is the Daily Stormer doing nothing but sending Nazis to worship Jews. Look at me on the fasci goy now. Here's Spencer. The media is portraying all these hardcore pictures of him. He's stout, he's great, he's brave. See, the media will paint you in whatever light they want. They have about 10 million pictures of you if you're famous, and they'll choose you looking stupid if they want to make you look stupid, or they'll choose you looking stout and brave if they want to make you look stout and brave. So, why would Wiki do that? Well, that's obvious, because it's controlled opposition. Why would Wiki do that? Obvious controlled opposition. Sorry, the mic was away from my mouth. Hopefully it doesn't get too far. So, he is a white supremacist. Richard Bertrand Spencer. Bertrand. He's an American white supremacist. He's president in Nash Pass Institute. White National think tank. Well, national, whatever. I don't even want to say that. Okay. Talking like him is wearing me out, bro. Okay, so why are they painting him in a good light? What's with that? Well, isn't it odd? He's after going through all this stuff and showing you who's actually pushing most, if not all of the alt-right, the hardest, they claim he is the inventor of the alt-right. Do you think he is? You think Richard Spencer is an inventor of the alt-right? Did I already do a video on that? But no, he's not. But who does it link him to? Jared Taylor, David Duke, Stephen Bannon, Milo, Kevin McDonald, all people who we have. Well, I'm not going to discuss Stephen Bannon. I mean, he was... Alright, I'll go ahead and discuss him. I'm about to tell you who all these people are and how they're all linked in with other people. And how Kevin looks like one of them. Milo admits he's one of them. David Duke is siding with them. Jared Taylor says they're our best friends and his mentors are them. And he protects them. And Stephen K. Bannon, he is he's supposedly this leader of the Nazis who did so much for the Nazis, but then they worshipped him at the Daily Stormer. That was another one of those people they told you was going to save the white race, and it's so good. Gotta save them all. And they were like, he's a hero. We need a hero like Bam in these days. They give me a 10-cent off diaper coupon. I love it. But as everything else they say at Daily Stormer, they're just scamming you. And he turns out to do nothing. And he's just basically up there to scapegoat whites. Like, he's a Nazi in the government. That was the dude they scapegoated for. He did so many evil things, but he didn't do anything. They just said, white Nazi, white Nazi, white Nazi. And everyone went nutso. And they were right. The Nazis were pushing him, but it's not white. The people pushing him are not white, and he's probably not white if they're pushing him that hard. And he's so fake about it, too. So, the 5 people that Google directly relates to him, I'm already exposing as being controlled opposition. But he's not really the inventor either, you see, because there is Gottfried. Have I already did a video on that? Here we go. So, the alt-right's Jewish godfather. See, there's Spencer. Jacob Siegel. Tablet. This is a Jewish production. This is Jewish writers. Jewish media. How Paul Gottfried, willing or reluctant, became the mentor of Richard Spencer and a philosophical lodestone for white nationalists. So, they talk about that. The night America elected Donald J. Trump, Richard Spencer's Karl Marx of the alt-right. No doubt, dude. We're not going to get into that. You can read it if you want. And then meet the Jewish paleoconservative who coined the term alternative right, the Ford. August 29, 2016. It says YouTube as well. And so, who is Paul Gottfried? Well, this is Jared Taylor. And as these articles explain, that's Jared Taylor's mentor. So who is Jared Taylor? Well, look right here. Jared Taylor runs American Renaissance. Oh, look at that. This is written by Paul Gottfried, HL Mencken Club, November 21st, 2008. Posted on August 24th, 2016. The decline and rise of the alternative right. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. This speech was widely considered to be the first time the alternative right was described in a public setting. We are grateful to Professor Gottfried for his permission to reprint the speech in full. Isn't that so great? Good people. Vox-splaining the alt-right. April 21st, 2016. So let's fast forward. This is actually posted before that, to be honest. So they tried to deny, I believe that in this, this might be the article where they tried to deny that it was invented by the Jewish. He just says they have problems explaining it, but yeah, in one of these articles, one of the articles from their site, maybe I didn't put it up here, they tried to deny it, but I thought I did. But I don't want to read through this right now. This video is already going to be so long. Yeah. So, shared values, white nationalism and Jewish nationalism, Jared Taylor. So, American Renaissance is like the 80s Nazis people. Kind of similar to David Duke or Stormfront. I suppose American Renaissance was probably like possibly 90s or 2000. I don't know the exact year they were designed to come out. There's several groups, and right now, thinking about it, they could have each been introduced a different decade to be the new alt-right controlled Nazi opposition. And just assume they are, because we're pointing this out right now, that they all are. So, the real alt-right isn't this dweeb who they're telling you who he is. He's like telling you bad things anyways. He's trying to hide all this stuff and protect these people. Now, before we dwell into the further areas, we're going to cover some other offshoots who are directly involved in this. We've already discussed Jared Taylor.